Welcome back to Network Africa. The lead consultant for Sovereign Insight, Mr. Vincent Kimosop, is back online with us to take a closer look at Mr. Kerry's visit to Kenya. Mr. Kimosop, can you tell us more about how significant this visit was for Kenyans?
So I'll say that number one is that it reinforces Kenya's position as a leading diplomatic destination. Then also, it also comes to buttress the ongoing efforts to restoring stability in South Sudan. Then thirdly is also the technical and financial support that Kenya has received on three areas. Number one is that to support the war against terror in Somalia. Number two is to support the humanitarian work that is leading towards the closure of the dam. And then finally is the support technically and financial for the forthcoming general elections in 2017.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vincent Kimosop, for joining us on the program. Well, we'll move on now, and the Rio 2016 Olympics has come and gone, and Tokyo is poised to do much better than Brazil did. Well, joining us to analyze the 2016 Rio Olympics is our own sports correspondent, Yemi Adibayo. Yemi, thank you for coming on the program.
Thanks for having me, BC.
Now, let's start with what lessons Team Nigeria has learned from this Olympics.
Well, you know, 4 years is not enough to prepare, so don't even try 3 months. I think that's the lesson that we have learned. And on the part of the government, it's not how much you spend, it's the quality of the money. It's not necessarily the amount, but the structure. So if we're serious about sports, if we don't see sports as philanthropy, we're not doing these guys a favor. So when you release money, there's a reason for it, and it's structured. So there's no structure. We just throw money at athletes and expect them to be magicians and bring us medals. It's not going to happen. Like one of them told us, even countries that have started preparing since London didn't win medals. So you can't start 3 months and expect to win. That's the lesson. I hope there's stability as well. If you can have a sports minister that could be there for 5-6 years, it helps. I've known Fikile Mbalula of South Africa for a while. He's been there. It's not been changed, you know. So that also helps, because when a new man comes in, new ideas, disrupts what the person that was there was trying to do, so there's no balance. So we look at all of that, and we also should see it as business. You know, these guys can, apart from bringing fame to Nigeria, good money can also come in.
We're talking about good money. Well, let's look at some of the scandals that plagued this year's event. For instance, the case of Ryan Lodge. What do you make of these scandals?
Well, it always happens. Every big sporting event, all of these things do happen. But in the case of Brazil, you must give kudos to the organizers, the way they've been able to handle all of the things that have happened, and not just the American swimmers, even the Australians saying that the Games Village was nothing to write home about. But they dealt with all of those issues. In my own opinion, for this Olympics, there wasn't much, apart from the ticketing fraud. That's a big one. The ticket scam, a lot of top officials were arrested. Apart from that, we all got to know that the American swimmers were lying, and also the Australians that said the Games Village wasn't good later came out to tell us that, okay, the Brazilians have cleaned everything up. So in terms of scandal, you could almost say that it was scandal-free, apart from the ticket fraud.
Well, how would you rate Brazil's hosting of this event? I mean, in spite of, initially there was a fear of the Zika virus, about talks about security threats, and even talks about the fact that the country is technically in recession. So overall, how did everything play out?
I'll give them, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give them 9. I've been impressed. I mean, I don't know what Tokyo is going to do, but these guys, they've taken it to a higher level. And like we always say, when the games begin, there was no protest anymore, there was no strike, there was nothing, and it was all about the games. And like I said, apart from the ticket. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give them 9. Was good advertisement for the cultural heritage of Brazil, their diversity. I mean, they showed us a whole lot. They announced themselves on the global stage. They already did that with the World Cup, and this icing on the cake, it was nice.
So now, you've talked about what you think that Tokyo would probably do, or what do you think they can do to make it even better in 2020?
I think technology, and the Japanese have that, so you can be rest assured. You saw Shinzo Abe, the Prime Minister, come out in a Super Mario outfit at the closing ceremony. That shows you that these guys know what they want, and they know how to put things in place. But in terms of the manpower, I don't see anything different. I think the aspect that might wow us will be technology. Maybe we'll see robots. I don't know. We'll see all those things that technology can do. That's the only area they might supersede. But in terms of artistic display and all those other things, I don't think you can get. And this is Nigeria. I mean, apart from the fact that I didn't like our kids, but these are things that will make you smile.
I mean, it's good you brought it back to Nigeria, because I was just going to ask you that, I mean, even though we've talked about some of the lessons learned, but do you see us putting up a better performance in 2020?
It depends on the government. It depends on, what the government really, really wants. If the government still sees sports as philanthropy, then we're not going to get it. But if they see it as business, if they see it as a way of getting people off the streets, making a living for a lot of young, sports can feed a third of this country. That's how huge sports is.
We'll talk about the role of government. What about the role of the athletes themselves, Team Nigeria, as we would say?
Well, the athletes, I mean, kudos to them. There's nothing else an athlete can do. They are not machines. An athlete should not be thinking of tickets, should not be thinking of, I need to go to Berlin to make this so amount. How many races did Usain Bolt run last year? But he was prepared for the Olympics. For the Jamaica national trials, he was not there. They gave him a medical exemption, all because Jamaica was thinking of Jamaica. But here in Nigeria, we wait to see somebody grab the headlines and we see how we can benefit from that person's fame. It doesn't work that way. You need to put in a lot. What you give is what you get at the end of the day.
All right, thank you very much, Yemi. We hope we've learned our lessons and put up a better performance in 2020. Yemi Adebayo, our sports correspondent. Now, let's stay with the South African story, where the economic hub in Johannesburg has a new mayor. Well, businessman Herman Mashaba rode on the Democratic Alliance platform, backed by the party's coalition partners, to win the election last night. In what turned out to be an eventful 12 hours, power slipped away from the African National Congress for the first time in 2 decades. Well, this is despite the ANC's unimpressive win in the Johannesburg Metro during the August 3rd election. The channel's television witnessed history being made at the Johannesburg City Hall.
It's been a fortnight of political intrigue, especially regarding the next leadership of the Johannesburg Metropolitan Municipality. Johannesburg is the economic hub of South Africa, and as at the day of the first sitting of council in the city, no one could say for certain who the next mayor of Johannesburg would be. It was that complicated. The African National Congress had 121 of 270 seats. So no outright majority. The DA had 104 seats and a coalition behind it. The EFF with 30 seats didn't like the DA's mayoral candidate but supports the DA. It had no issues with the ANC's mayoral candidate but dislikes the ANC.
Yes, the ANC has been defeated. This issue was resolved on the 3rd of August. More than 55% of voters did not vote for the ANC. And that is finding expression here in the council chambers.
Drama wasn't in short supply. There were disruptions over bribery allegations.
What we ask of the city of Johannesburg is not to protect wanted criminals.
There was singing and dancing. There were even scuffles. And somewhere in between, a re-elected ANC councillor slumped and died.
Thank you. The mic, please. At this stage, I'd like to pass my condolences to the councillor that obviously passed away.
Nearly 12 hours later, Johannesburg Metro got a new mayor. The DA's Herman Mashaba beat the ANC's Pax Dau 144 to 125 votes, ending the ANC's 21-year reign over the city.
Still to come on Network Africa, the world celebrates 25 years since the World Wide Web went public. Do stay with us.